25 years later, Earl Spencer broke his silence. "No one knows about the war we fought for my sister, Diana's inheritance. The royal family tried to take everything that belonged to her from us, even the children. So what was the Spencer family hiding?" August 31st, 2022, the 25th anniversary of Diana's death. At the family mansion of Althorpe House, Earl Charles Spencer sat in his private study, looking at a portrait of his sister Diana. On his desk lay documents he had never shared with anyone for 25 years. The decision he made that night would reveal the Spencer family's biggest secret. The next morning, Earl Spencer called the BBC. "I'm ready to talk about Diana's inheritance," he said in a determined voice. "The world must know the truths I've hidden for 25 years. In his exclusive interview with the BBC on September 1st, 2022, Earl Spencer began with these words. "After my sister Diana's death, a secret war began between us and the royal family. This war wasn't just about money. It was about controlling Diana's legacy, her memory, and even her children. This revelation sent shockwaves through royal circles, because for 25 years it was believed that Diana's inheritance had been peacefully shared between the Spencer family and the royal family. According to Earl Spencer's account, secret meetings had begun just 3 days after Diana's death. The first clash occurred on September 3rd, 1997, one day after Diana's funeral. An unexpected meeting took place at Althorpe House. The royal family's legal advisors visited the Spencer family. The Queen's private secretary, Sir Robert Fellows, came, Earl Spencer recounts. He had 3 lawyers and a financial advisor with him. They told us, "We need to review Diana's inheritance. Some arrangements need to be made." The Spencer family's lawyer at the time, Sir David Hughes, remembers that day. The royal family was acting very urgently. The funeral had barely ended, but they immediately wanted to take control of Diana's will. Diana's official will was written on June 1st, 1993. According to this will, Diana's fortune, worth £21 million, would be shared equally between William and Harry. The children would gain access to this money when they turned 25. However, the Spencer family knew that Diana wanted to update this will. 2 weeks before her death, Diana had called Earl Spencer with a concerning conversation he still remembers. Diana told me, "Charles, I want to change my will. I don't want William and Harry to be destroyed by the royal system. They need to maintain their Spencer family connections." In this conversation, Diana had expressed concern about her children being crushed under royal protocol. She also wanted the Spencer family to take a more active role in William and Harry's education. Diana wanted her children to learn Spencer family history, to grow up with democratic values, Earl Spencer continues. Instead of the rigidity that royal protocol brings, she wanted them to grow up in warm family bonds. But Diana died before she could make these changes. And this situation became the beginning of a legal war that would last for years between the 2 families. The Spencer family claimed that Diana had prepared a second will, but this will had not yet been signed. Diana's private lawyer, Paul Burrell, not Diana's personal butler, but her legal advisor, spoke about this for the first time in 2022. Lady Diana had asked me to prepare a new will draft in August 1997. This draft contained clauses that strengthened her children's ties with the Spencer family. She also wanted most of Diana's personal belongings to remain with the Spencer family. According to this draft, Diana's jewelry would remain under Spencer family control. William and Harry would spend at least 3 months a year at Althorpe House. The Spencer family would have custody of Diana's private letters and diaries. The Spencer family would have a say in the children's education decisions. The royal family argued that this draft had no legal validity because it had not been signed by Diana. The first major disagreement after Diana's death was about her personal belongings. Diana's apartment at Kensington Palace was filled with valuable items, famous jewelry, artworks, special photographs, letters, and memory boxes she had prepared for William and Harry. The Spencer family wanted these items to be preserved at Althorpe House. The royal family argued that these were part of the royal collection. Earl Spencer says about this period, "The royal family tried to take even Diana's most personal belongings. Diana's childhood photos, family letters she wrote to us. They acted as if Diana had never been a Spencer family member." The biggest disagreement was about Diana's jewelry, which fell into 3 categories. 1. Royal jewelry, items given during marriage like tiaras and necklaces. 2. Personal purchases, jewelry Diana bought with her own money. 3. Spencer family, jewelry, items Diana inherited from her family. The royal family wanted to exclude the Spencer family from determining these categories. The Spencer family wanted most of Diana's personal jewelry to be displayed at Althorpe House. The Spencer family's lawyer, Sir David Hughes, describes the tension of that period. The royal family's lawyers claimed that everything Diana owned was royal property. This was legally wrong, but they were applying pressure because they were powerful. The most sensitive issue was who William and Harry would spend time with. Diana's will had no clear provision, but the Spencer family argued that Diana wanted the children to have close relationships with Spencer relatives. According to Earl Spencer's claim, the royal family was trying to distance the children from the Spencer family. After Diana's death, bringing William and Harry to Althorpe became almost impossible. We needed official permission for every visit. It was as if my sister's children were strangers. This situation was particularly evident in the tensions during Diana's funeral. Earl Spencer's speech at Diana's funeral had been the peak of tension between the royal family and the Spencer family. Spencer's speech included these words that indirectly criticized the royal family. "As Diana's blood family, we will ensure that her love continues. We will preserve her unique, complex, extraordinary, and difficult character." These words were perceived as an attack by the royal family. Earl Spencer clarifies this topic in his 2022 interview. "I had to make that speech because the royal family was trying to shape Diana's memory according to their own interests. Diana's true character was disappearing. The most secret war in Diana's inheritance was about financial matters. Diana's official fortune was announced as £21 million, but according to the Spencer family's claim, the real figure was much higher. The Spencer family's financial advisor, Jonathan Wright, made this statement in 2022. When Diana's secret investments, offshore accounts, and art collection were included, her real fortune was between £45 to £50 million. This additional wealth became a subject of disagreement between the Spencer family and the royal family for years. In 1998, the disagreement reached such a level that Queen Elizabeth II had to intervene personally. The meetings between Spencer family and royal family lawyers were becoming increasingly harsh, and rumors beginning to leak to the press were disturbing both families. The Queen's private secretary, Sir Robert Fellows, describes the atmosphere of that period. Her Majesty thought this situation was harmful to both the royal family and the Spencer family. It was casting a shadow over Diana's memory. Most importantly, William and Harry were starting to become aware of this situation. Indeed, 16-year-old William had heard rumors from his friends at Eton about problems between the Spencer family and the royal family. When William asked his father about these, Charles was in a very difficult position. The Queen could not allow her grandsons to be affected by this complex situation. In July 1998, the Queen made a very rare decision. She called Earl Spencer directly, requesting a private meeting at Balmoral. Such personal interventions were things the Queen did only at the most critical moments. "Charles," the Queen had said on the phone, "you need to come and talk with me. We must resolve this before the situation gets out of control." In the first week of August 1998, Earl Spencer went to Balmoral. The Queen received him privately, without protocol officers meeting him at the airport. The details of this meeting remained secret for 25 years. Earl Spencer first told this meeting in full detail in 2022. "The Queen received me in her private salon. No one was there. She even served tea herself. She said to me, 'Charles, we both know where this situation is heading. If it reaches the media, Diana's memory will be damaged. More importantly, William and Harry will be affected.'" The Queen's approach surprised Earl Spencer. Instead of a domineering or authoritarian attitude, she spoke like a sincere and concerned grandmother. "Diana's children are my grandchildren," the Queen had said. "They are your nephews. We all want their happiness." Earl Spencer told the Queen about Diana's final wishes in detail. He explained how much Diana wanted her children to preserve their Spencer family ties, that she didn't want them raised only with royal protocol. He said that Diana wanted to make changes to her will, but didn't get the opportunity. "Diana was afraid of you," Earl Spencer said courageously. "She was worried about her children getting lost in the royal system, forgetting their Spencer identity." Hearing these words, the Queen remained silent for a long time. Then she spoke. "Charles, I understand Diana's concerns. Royal life isn't easy. I experienced similar difficulties as a young mother. Perhaps there are points where Diana was right." This confession deeply affected Earl Spencer. The Queen was admitting that some of Diana's criticisms might have been justified. In the continuation of their conversation, the Queen revealed her solution-focused approach. "It's possible for Diana's children to grow up with both royal responsibilities and Spencer family ties. These two identities don't have to conflict. Isn't this what Diana wanted anyway?" Earl Spencer answered this question with, "Yes, exactly this." The Queen stood up and walked to the window. Looking at Balmoral's vast gardens, she said, "Then our lawyers don't need to fight. We, as Diana's family, can agree for the children's best interests." That evening, the Queen and Earl Spencer talked for 3 hours. The Queen listened to Diana's childhood stories, tried to understand the Spencer family's values. Earl Spencer better understood the difficulties that royal responsibilities bring. At the end of the meeting, the Queen said these words to Earl Spencer, "Charles, you are Diana's brother. This gives you special responsibility. Your role is very important in preserving William and Harry's Spencer family identity. I am ready to support this." When Earl Spencer left Balmoral, he felt that he had found someone who shared a common purpose instead of an enemy. The Queen's intervention didn't remain only at the emotional level. The following week, she instructed the royal family's lawyers to begin constructive negotiations with the Spencer family. Similarly, she asked Earl Spencer to convince his family to use solution language instead of war language. Following this intervention, the atmosphere between the two families completely changed in autumn 1998. Thanks to the Queen's mediation, Diana's inheritance dispute was replaced by cooperation focused on the children's future. The comprehensive negotiations that began in early 1999 now took place in a much more constructive atmosphere. The Spencer family and the royal family worked on an agreement that prioritized Diana's children's interests. The most difficult part of the negotiations was Diana's jewelry. The Spencer family wanted Diana's personal jewelry to be displayed at Althorpe because Diana had explicitly stated this while alive. The royal family argued that most of these jewels belonged to William and Harry. Finally, a creative solution was found. 60% of Diana's jewelry would be delivered to William and Harry on their 25th birthdays, while 40% would be displayed at the Spencer family's Althorpe collection in Diana's memory. This way, both the children could preserve their memories, and the public could see Diana's jewelry. A similar compromise was reached on financial matters. The existence of Diana's secret wealth was officially acknowledged, and this additional money was transferred to a special fund that would open when the children turned 30. The Spencer family gained a say in managing this fund, thus preserving the children's ties with the Spencer family, as Diana wanted. The most emotional part of the agreement was the children's visitation program. Diana very much wanted William and Harry to have close relationships with the Spencer family while she was alive. With the Queen's suggestion, it was decided that the children would stay at Althorpe for at least 1 week each year and spend Diana's birthday and death anniversary together with the Spencer family. Additionally, the Spencer family would assume an advisory role in the children's education decisions. This was a topic Diana particularly cared about. Diana wanted her children to grow up not only with royal protocol, but also with Spencer family values. After the 1999 agreement was signed, the most important decision was to keep the agreement secret. Both families agreed this was necessary. Earl Spencer explains the logic of this decision. The royal family didn't want it known that they had disagreements about Diana's inheritance. This could damage their image. We also didn't want William and Harry to be bothered by these adult problems while growing up. The children were only 17 and 15 years old at the time. It wouldn't have been right to drag them into these complex situations. There were other reasons behind the secrecy decision. If the agreement's details were revealed, the press would keep Diana's inheritance constantly on the agenda, which would prevent the children from growing up normally. Also, the issue of Diana's secret wealth could lead to major controversies in public opinion and damage her memory. The Queen explained her reason for supporting this secrecy decision to Earl Spencer. Diana's biggest concern was her children being crushed under media pressure. If we reveal this agreement, the media will follow them even more. This is not what Diana wanted. But perhaps the saddest part of this story was that William and Harry didn't know their mother's true wishes for many years. The royal family preferred not to tell the children the details of the agreement. Earl Spencer describes how this situation continued. As years passed, when we met with William and Harry, we realized they knew very little about their mother's ties with the Spencer family. While growing up within royal protocol, they couldn't get enough information about Diana's true character and wishes. This situation was particularly evident at family gatherings. When William and Harry came to Althorpe, they saw Diana's childhood rooms, but couldn't fully understand their mother's memories there. They didn't know how Diana grew up with Spencer family values, how these values shaped her character. The Spencer family's helplessness about this was also great. Earl Spencer wanted to tell William and Harry about their mother's true feelings, but couldn't do so due to the agreement's confidentiality clauses. The children asked us questions, but we couldn't tell them the full truth. This was very painful, he confesses. The turning point was Harry's marriage to Meghan in 2018. Meghan, coming from outside the royal family, could evaluate the difficulties Diana experienced more objectively. She helped Harry understand why his mother, Diana, struggled within the royal system. Under Meghan's influence, Harry began researching more about his mother's stories. He met with Diana's old friends, read books written about her. During this process, he also began establishing closer relationships with the Spencer family and discovered his mother's true character. In 2020, Harry called Earl Spencer for an important conversation. "Uncle, I feel there are things I don't know about my mother. Meghan told me how much my mother valued Spencer family values. Will you speak honestly with me?" This phone call was a critical moment for Earl Spencer. He began thinking about whether it was time to break the silence that had lasted more than 20 years. He told Harry about Diana's ties with the Spencer family, how much she wanted her children to grow up with these values. Harry was very affected after this conversation. "Why didn't you tell me these things before?" he had asked. Earl Spencer's answer was simple. "Because we were trying to protect you. But now you've grown up, you can make your own decisions." William's awakening happened differently. In 2022, when his own children George, Charlotte, and Louis began asking questions about Spencer family history, it made William think. His children were curious about their grandmother Diana, but William knew very little to tell them. Especially, a question Charlotte asked deeply affected William. "Dad, how did grandmother feel about the Spencer family? Why don't you ever talk about them?" This question made William think something was wrong. His mother Diana had very close relationships with the Spencer family, but William never felt these connections. Why had his family never told him anything about his mother's Spencer identity? In early 2022, William called Earl Spencer requesting a private meeting. "Uncle, my children are curious about the Spencer family, but I know very little to tell them. What were my mother's true wishes?" In response to this question, Earl Spencer told William all the details of the 1999 agreement. He explained how much Diana valued her children's Spencer family ties, that she wanted them to grow up with these values. William's reaction was both surprising and sad. "Uncle, why didn't you tell us these things before? If I had known that my mother valued our connection with the Spencer family this much, I would have acted very differently. I would have wanted to raise my children with these values too." Earl Spencer was very affected by William's reaction. "At that moment, I realized that what Diana wanted wasn't happening. Her children had never learned their Spencer identities, couldn't establish these connections." This awareness became a turning point for Earl Spencer. The decision he made in summer 2022 was to end the 25-year silence. William's request was also effective in this. "Uncle, it's time to learn the truths now. Both we and the public should know what happened regarding my mother's legacy." William's request wasn't just to learn about the past, it was to shape the future. William wanted his own children George, Charlotte, and Louis to establish strong ties with the Spencer family. He wanted to ensure that Diana's grandchildren grew up with the values she wanted. The secrets Earl Spencer revealed in his 2022 BBC interview revealed not only past disagreements, but also Diana's true wishes. Diana's most valuable legacy to her children wasn't money, but Spencer family values and identity. Following the interview, the 1999 agreement was reviewed again. William and Harry, now knowing the truth, took active roles in updating the agreement. The most important change in the new arrangements was Diana's grandchildren's relationship with the Spencer family. William particularly emphasized this. "My children will spend time at Althorpe every summer. They will learn Spencer family history. Isn't this what my mother wanted?" Earl Spencer received this proposal with great satisfaction. This was Diana's biggest dream, for her children to preserve their Spencer identities, to grow up with these values. According to the new agreement made in summer 2022, Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis would spend long holidays at Althorpe every year. The Spencer family would tell them Diana's childhood stories, teach them family history. Diana's personal archive would also be preserved for future generations, and the children would be able to access this archive as they grew up. New arrangements were also made regarding Diana's personal belongings. Diana's diaries, letters, and personal photographs would be digitized at William and Harry's request, so both families could access these memories. Harry's marriage to Meghan and move to California also opened a new page in his relationships with the Spencer family. Harry was trying to live his mother Diana's values in his own family. He was telling his children Archie and Lilibet about Spencer family history, showing them Diana's photographs. Earl Spencer found Harry's approach very valuable. Harry is like Diana's spirit, independent, brave, and fair like her. He's raising his children with these values too. But the most dramatic development in this new period was about Diana's grave. For 25 years, it was known that Diana lay in the island grave at Althorpe, but Earl Spencer revealed a surprising truth in 2022. I must also tell the truth about the location of Diana's grave. That island grave is actually a memorial site. Diana's real grave is in the private section of Althorpe, in a place known only to the family. We did this for security reasons. This revelation shocked Diana fans. Thousands of people who learned they had been visiting the wrong place for 25 years demanded explanations from the Spencer family. Earl Spencer explained the reason for these decisions. After Diana's death, thousands of visitors came to Althorpe daily. Security was very difficult. We kept her real grave secret so Diana could rest in peace. The island grave is a symbolic place made in her memory. This revelation also affected William and Harry. They stated they wanted to visit their mother's real grave. When Earl Spencer took them to the private grave, both became very emotional. William's words about that moment were very touching. When I saw my mother's real grave, I realized we hadn't been able to properly say goodbye to her for 25 years. Now she has found peace, and so have we. In 2023, on the 26th anniversary of Diana's death, the Spencer family and royal family held a joint memorial service for the first time. This ceremony became a symbol that the 25-year secret war had truly ended. The most meaningful moment of the ceremony was William's children, George, Charlotte, and Louis, placing flowers on Diana's real grave. The children had listened to stories about their grandmother told by the Spencer family and had gotten to know her character better. Earl Spencer expressed his feelings after the ceremony. What Diana wanted has finally come true. Her grandchildren know her with her Spencer family identity. Her values are being passed on to future generations. But perhaps the most important result of this long story was the redefinition of the concept of Diana's legacy. Diana's real legacy wasn't money or jewelry, but the value system she left to her children and grandchildren. William shared his thoughts on this in 2023. My mother's greatest legacy isn't the amount of her money, but the values of compassion, justice, and courage she taught us. I try to pass these values on to my children. Harry also expressed similar feelings. My mother lived by harmonizing both royal and Spencer family identities. I try to teach both identities to my children together. The end of the Spencer family's 25-year silence also opened new doors for Diana's fans. The Diana Museum at Althorpe House was expanded, and her Spencer family roots began to be told in more detail. Earl Spencer displayed Diana's childhood period in the museum's new section, how Spencer family values shaped her character. Visitors could now know Diana not only as a princess, but also as a Spencer family member. Speaking at the museum's opening in 2024, Earl Spencer said these meaningful words. For 25 years, we hid Diana's Spencer identity. Now the world knows her complete story. She wasn't just a princess. She was also a Spencer family member we're proud of. William attended this opening with his children. As George, Charlotte, and Louis saw their grandmother's childhood photographs, they better understood how important the Spencer family was. The 25-year secret war fought for Diana's inheritance, thus reached the result Diana wanted. Her children and grandchildren were growing up with both royal responsibilities and Spencer family values. The 2 years that passed after Earl Spencer's 2022 revelations enabled the complete normalization of relations between the Spencer family and the royal family. There were no longer secret agreements or wars between the two families. The openness and honesty Diana wanted prevailed. Diana's spirit had finally found peace. Her children had learned the truth. Her grandchildren had discovered their Spencer identities. The bridges between the royal family and Spencer family had been rebuilt. Earl Spencer's final words in 2022 perfectly summarized this long story. We remained silent for 25 years because we wanted to protect William and Harry. But now they are adults. They have established their own families. It was time for Diana's true wishes to be known. Diana wanted her children to grow up with both royal and Spencer family values. Thanks to this inheritance war, the balance Diana wanted was ultimately achieved. She didn't just want her children to be princes and princesses, but also to be Spencer family members. The Spencer family's 25-year secret was actually Diana's greatest victory. Even after her death, she had ensured her children grew up in the best way, making it possible for them to preserve their Spencer family identities. Today, as Diana's grandchildren run around Althorpe, Diana's spirit may have finally found peace. Because this was what she really wanted, for her children and grandchildren to grow up preserving both royal and Spencer family identities, with the best values of both families. This story that emerged after 25 years of silence once again proves that Diana wasn't just a princess, but also a mother who thought about her children's future down to the finest detail. The Spencer family's hidden secret was actually Diana's greatest achievement, ensuring her children's best upbringing even after her death.